There we go. I was muted. How's everybody doing? I hope you have been having a wonderful week or so. Oh man. Sorry, just setting some stuff up here. Hello. It's been oh, it's this guy. Same old guy. Same old me. Yeah. Things been a little nuts. I've been working a bit and in the process of buying another home and moving and all that sort of stuff. So life gets a little crazy when that happens. Wrapping up a course for LinkedIn Learning as well. So haven't been able to hop on here in a minute. How's Mr. Bezos? I don't know, man. I'm sure Jeff, as we call him affectionately, Jeffy B. Actually, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry to hear that you're homeless. That's not a fun time, without a doubt. Um, but yeah, it's just doing that and mentoring on the side. I put a link in the description, I think, so that you could see it if interested. I've been doing a lot of mentoring. Yeah. Well, it sounds like Meek, you're at a good point to start interviewing. Usually interview before you think you're ready. That's why I work with a lot of my mentees on is if you're holding off until you're ready, you've probably held off too long. Most people don't ever feel like they're going to be fully ready. So you just gotta dive in, man. What's going on? I closed on my new house on Tuesday. So like, it doesn't look like it because I haven't touched my office, but this whole house has been packed up. That and mentoring and building courses. So I haven't done anything for Scrimba in a while. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I did do a podcast with Scrimba, I think. Am I going to Washington still? Doesn't look like it. My work more or less has okayed me to stay in the area for at least another year. So yeah. So I'll be able to hang out here for a bit. So hey, Code Sphinx, which is nice because things are going well with my girlfriend. We've been dating maybe 7 months now, around there. So, why the new house if remote is okay? Couple reasons. One, I'm turning this into a rental property, so I already actually have it rented, with a 1-year lease. So, gonna turn it into a rental property. Two, when I bought this house, particularly, I was with somebody who I bought it with, in the sense like I was dating somebody for like a decade, and then it's kind of living in something that you associate with somebody else who affects you negatively isn't a great thing. But really, it's because I bought a house that's bigger than I need. Uh, because I was planning on having a family. That's no longer my path, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm the only single guy in this entire community. So I bought a place that's about a mile from the beach. That's going to be in a much. It's going to make more sense for my life. But to build wealth and to find something that works. Should I learn Sass or Bootstrap? Sass. Sass is definitely going to scale better than Bootstrap. But yeah, just that's why. I mean, I could have stayed here, but I've been here for a year and a half plus at this point from when my relationship ended, and I'm in a new one, and this I've been wanting to get out of here for a while, like the whole time. So I finally was able to do it. Uh, hey, thanks for your channel. I've been listening to your advice for 4 years. Started my first SE job. Now I got my first senior position. Good for you, man. Congrats. Yeah, moving to the St. Petersburg area. Yeah, the move's gonna be fun. I got a moving truck on Saturday booked, and a couple buddies gonna help me out, and it it sucks. What are the mistakes you made as a beginner? Um, I don't think I made a ton of mistakes as a beginner. Some of the mistakes I've made have been being less logical with my career and being more emotional. Accepting a counteroffer would definitely be something where I made a mistake, because that particular counteroffer wasn't just about money. It was about getting out of a bad, toxic work environment, and I forgot about that. Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you, um, I don't know anything about Rust. Sorry. Um, Hindsight is always 2020. Yeah, if you think you're gonna go through life and make 100% correct choices, you're gonna really set yourself up for failure. Did I use Create React App to learn? No, I just started building stuff. It's kind of interesting how you learn when you're later on in your career versus earlier on. Um, can you complete full stack in 3 months? Probably not. I mean, if your goal is to get a job, probably not. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, but so is winning the lottery. Let me know how well that goes. You shouldn't set such harsh timelines on yourself. But again, if any of you guys are interested in the mentoring, something I've been doing, I'm in the, I'll pin it to this, top 5% of mentors on the platform. Check it out. The MERN stack is full stack, yeah. Master of the Match, most organizations you go to are already going to have a pre-existing project. It's going to be pretty rare that you actually are the one that spins up the project with the CLI command. It does happen, but typically they're hiring you because they already have a need. Um, you know. Do I think Dina will pace out Node? I don't know. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Any advice between mobile and web dev? I would definitely focus on web dev unless you have a strong passion for mobile, just because I think you have more job opportunities and salary potential. Potentially starting my first software gig July 12th. Oh, good. Good luck with that, man. Any tips? Yeah, I would read the book The Clean Coder. There should be a link in the description below. That'll teach you how to be a software professional. From a business sense, I really do think that's a great book for most people to read. I've used Trello for personal projects. That's about it. If you were a developer, what career would you be? Well, it would probably be with a computer, but if we take like computer related type of things out, just because I've grown to like remote and all that sort of stuff, but it's all sort of technical skills. I'd probably be an electrician. They have great earning. They have great earning ability. You can do your own thing with it. You also have a skill that is in demand, and presumably for the rest of your life. I don't think electricity is going anywhere. You can also get up and running relatively quickly. So that'd probably be the path I would go down. Yeah, I don't know too much about plumbers, but that's definitely I'm sure they fall in the same thing. But that's where I would go. I love that you love that I still come on live. I try, man. I want to give back in various ways that I can. Um, Honestly, I don't have monetization turned on the YouTube videos. I do promote my mentoring and my courses a little bit, but I think that's okay. People pay whatever it takes to the heating or AC back on when needed. It's true, man. Whenever I have like, hey, my battery's dead. I need, I have a car issue or like I have a AC issue or electric issue. It's like I don't know what it costs. What does it cost? $300? Sure, put that shit in. $300, get my power back on, baby. Am I still not doing the podcast? Yeah, right now I have no interest in doing it. Um, so um, you know, it's just I'm enjoying my time. I really like my job. I'm enjoying my time with my work. I'm enjoying my time with my girlfriend and sort of growing with her. And um, you know, I'm gonna have a rental property now. That's gonna take some time. I just my time. If I'm gonna trade my time for, if I'm gonna trade my hours, it has to be for something that makes sense. The podcast just doesn't make any money. Um, and 3 seasons is enough. 3 seasons of not making any money is more than enough of a passion project. Do you think a lot of these jobs that are offering remote work due to COVID will remain remote? I think what you'll see is a lot of organizations do hybrid, where you're in the office 3 days, remote 2, or vice versa. And then I also think that a lot of people are going to put a higher emphasis on remote. So when companies are already vying for talent, then what ends up happening is, okay, well, how are we going to get Dylan to go from Amazon to Google? right? We want Dylan. Well, a conversation is not even going to be had unless remote's a possibility. And if it's not, there has to be a money thing that makes up for it. So how how valuable is it to get Dylan in the office? Is it enough that you want to pay $150,000 more, like to get somebody in the office? So like these are conversations that are going to be happening in the world. And a lot of people before was like, oh, remote would be a good thing. That'd be cool. I've never done it. They have done it for a year and a half and they've done their job. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of that. That's why you see a lot of articles on LinkedIn about this all the time. But I do think more places are going to be open to it. I do think that workers are going to be a little bit more forceful with what they want with it. And I do think employers are going to be using it as a bargaining chip, as well as being willing to offer additional benefits to make up for that not being a thing. But flexibility, I think, is what you're going to see all around. Is my whole team remote? Right now we are. I would say about half to 2/3 of my team is actually in the Seattle area. So, you know, TopTal has always offered remote work. Why don't people talk about it as much? TopTal is a very small freelance sort of network. So you're saying why don't people talk about something that might have, 1,000 people that work under them? I'm just pulling a number out of my butt. I don't know how many people work at TopTal. My gut would say, let's just say 5,000, which would be an astounding number. I'd be surprised. 5,000 when there's 20 million devs is a drop in the bucket. Doesn't matter. Or 5 million devs, whatever it is. It's 1/10 of 1% of 5 million devs. So, been watching me since 2018. Well, thank you, man. Favorite color? Probably like charcoal gray. Why am I not working for Fang? I do work for Fang. I work at Amazon. So now you know. Yeah. How's it going? Good, man. Life is good. I'm happy, man. I met the girlfriend's dad this week. So I introduced her to my dad last weekend. Just sort of sunk up that way. So I guess things are getting serious. I guess things are getting serious. Any tips regarding Fang interviews? Prepare. Put the time in. Girl to travel to Florida with? No, that was April. She left a little over 18 months ago, something like that. The old girlfriend decided that she was unhappy and that we were not meant to be, and went on back home to California. So wish her the best of luck. Things are progressing nicely, yeah, man. It's been the thing I love most about Kat is that it feels like we both very much so want things to work. So whenever there's issues, we can very openly talk about it and be respectful and try to, we can disagree, but it's more about explaining your side of things, and then seeing what we can do to make things work. It's the healthiest, most adult relationship I've ever had, and that is very refreshing. And she's definitely the youngest girl I've like seriously dated since being that age, right? So like my previous long-term relationship, we were basically the same age. She was 2 years younger. but we like grew up together, right? Like, is this a splinter? What is this? Yeah, it's a splinter. Shit. There we go. So how did you meet? Just mutual friends. So she's someone asked if she's in tech. She's not. She's studying accounting. Should be done in early next year, Q1 of 2022 here. She was ungrateful. I think she was. It's easy to paint the picture that like, I was the provider, and then she just was ungrateful. I think that's oversimplification. I think moving to Florida was very hard on her, and we grew apart. I mean, that's a real thing that happens, guys. Like, it's very realistic that you date somebody for almost a decade, that you go this way, you're going like this, and then eventually one person goes like this, and the other person goes like this, and then over time, things don't work out. Doesn't mean anybody did anything wrong. And I think that's probably what happened in certain aspects of our lives, our relationship, and probably the only issue I would say is, when you've known somebody for so long and they just aren't a part of your life anymore, you kind of, it feels like you've lost a friend. So that was probably the hardest thing for like the first year or 6 months or so. But you get over that eventually. It's not like a normal like if you date somebody for like 6 months or a year and they're not in your life 6 months later, it's whatever. Like, it's like you go like, you're like on to the next one, baby. Like, on to, life goes on. But there are lingering impacts just because of familiarity. So, which brings me back to the point about like getting out of the house, is like it's very familiar and things like that, and that needs to go. But yeah, Kat and I, she's one thing I really like about Kat. Also, she's a very hard worker. How's the software development industry going? Absolutely great. Best industry you can get into, in my opinion. Do you find it hard to treat yourself to things? I did for a while. But so one thing that makes it easier for me to treat myself is I make sure, first off, I have no debt except my mortgages. Then I make sure that I'm investing a third of my income. A third of my income goes towards my monthly bills, and I have a third of my income that's just sort of fun. And once I've make sure that my money's going and I've planned for the future, it's easier for me to treat myself. It's also easier if you have a girlfriend. Because like a lot of what I enjoy doing, it's so funny. Like, I've been asked by like my girlfriend's family, like, what do you like doing for fun? And it's like, well, I like hanging out with, my significant other. So whatever she wants to do, we can do. Like, it's not like my fun is like, oh man, I like to go to theme parks, or I like to go to sporting events. It's like, I like to do things with my girl. So like, in that case, it's easier to spend money because it's like, this is what I like doing. But that's not really a thing for me. Like, I think a lot of times when people say treat yourself, it means like nice car or like clothes or like this shirt. I think I got from California still. So, so did you ever buy a Tesla to treat yourself after all the investment? No, I bought a house. So that's actually, so it's, part of the reason I was looking at buying actually a BMW X5, and I had cash to go buy it. It was going to be about $40,000, and I had the cash to go buy it, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. I found one on CarMax. It was nice. It was like a 2019 mint condition, 14,000 miles. Like, it just looked nice. It was great. And then I was like, why don't I keep my car, which only has 35,000 miles on it? It's fine. It's nice. Works great. It's not like beat up or anything. And go buy a house. So I've been talking about doing it for a while. And I was like, that will go into an appreciating asset rather than a depreciating asset. So that's why I end up with Tesla. Is she part of your entertainment cost? I don't look at me living life with my significant other as an entertainment cost. Yeah, getting your foot in the door is very hard in software engineering and web development. That's actually the number one thing I'm able to help my mentees with on the platform a lot. Is not only getting their foot in the door, but once it's in there, how to stay in the door, and then once you're in the door, how to go to the next door to make more money. That's typically what 90% of what I work with on my mentees is. From resume reviews to LinkedIn reviews to cultural tips and tricks to answering, nailing the technical interview, all that sort of stuff. But it's usually about making those big jumps and having the support to do so, as well as a point of a point of sort of I'm looking for therapy, of dealing with imposter syndrome, of having the confidence that you deserve to have. Yeah. Yeah. What's your best tip regarding moving from your first job to the next while getting much higher pay? Making sure you're worth it. You can go. I just helped someone go from 50 to 80K in a 6-week period, and I helped someone not in a 3.5 month period go from boot camp to landing a $40 an hour job to now 170K salaried job in 4 months. So the thing is to make sure that you're increasing in the skills that are going to pay you more and that you're getting better. A lot of people repeat that first year 10 times. And so they're not going to, you don't just go from 50 to 150 because you have a year of experience. There's much more that goes into it. What's up, Robert? At what point in your career did you say, okay, now I'm making good money? Every point. Every point of my career. When you go from California making 45,000 to 62 and soon 67K in Florida, it's like, yo, pop the bottles, baby, brush your shoulders off. We made it, baby. We made it. Every single step of the way, man. I've been like, every single step, every single pay raise, I'm like, we making good money, baby. Um, so yeah. But best tip, yeah, just making sure that you're actually learning skills and things that are valuable, clean code, testing, be able to work with the business, agile. So I do often wonder if web dev will get saturated. I don't know how. There's been people say this again and again. It's like if you look at any of the stats, none of it says it's saturated. How many mentees do I have right now? I have 4 mentees right now. I usually hover around 5, 6 or 7. And so my mentoring sessions go like this. We have one meeting for 30 minutes every single week, and unlimited chats, so you can always get a hold of me. And I also send a weekly resource update, like, hey, here's some books, this or that, and I give free copies of all my courses. So um, yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm ranked in the top 5% on the platform. I am a coach, which means I've accomplished about what top 3% of people have been able to through their criteria, and pretty soon I'll be ranked as a top mentor. So yeah, it's I really enjoyed it, man. Being able to have that individual impact and work with people has been really rewarding. I wasn't expecting that. Um, yeah. Also, you can do a 7-day free trial on there. So if you sign up and you want to connect and just have one meeting to see if, like, oh hey, well, I actually get value out of meeting with Dylan every single week. Which I think you will, but it depends what it is you're trying to do. Am I still moving to Seattle? Not at this time. Not at this time. Does machine learning AI knowledge give you an edge to front end engineer? Not unless it's a machine learning AI company. But yeah, that's one of the cooler things about Mentor Cruise. It's kind of it's cool that it gets people like, hey, you get a 7-day free trial, see if the platform's for you, see if your mentor's for you. Where it kind of sucks is I've had 2 or 3 people that it's very clear and evident that they're just there to get a free meeting out of you, and they have no intent to actually doing mentoring with you, which is the name of the game. I get it; they're hustling, so I don't take it too personally, but it does happen. Just want to say thanks, Dylan. You've helped me a lot throughout my beginning. Oh, good for you, Patrick. How is testing done exactly? I mean, it really depends. You could have integration tests, you could have end-to-end testing, you could have unit tests, you got manual testing. So, but yeah, Brian, check it out, man. Do I still invest in index mutual funds, ETFs? Yes. Although right now I completely am cashed out because I just bought the house. So I'll be investing a little bit less. I need to eliminate the PMI on this next house, as well as beef up because now I'm gonna have the 2 properties. I'm gonna beef up my sort of emergency fund a little bit. So, but yes, I do plan on buying stocks and ETFs and all that sort of stuff again. Not a financial advisor. Not a financial advisor. Just one more time. What are we not? A financial advisor. But yes, you always got to have your money make money, man. I am a coach. Yeah. Who you start the podcast again? I don't think I'm starting the podcast again for a long while. I think I want to get together some conference talks. I'm going to start looking into the promotion process at Amazon as well once I get situated in the next few months. And so I might be studying quite a bit for that if needed, and make that a priority of mine. So, you know, But yeah, I am a coach on the platform. So let me see. What is it? I forget what it says you have to do to be a coach. To be a coach, you have to reach a level of 10, maintain a 4.8, have had 6 mentees, mentor in the highest pricing tier, and respond to new applications under a day usually. So I do all those things. Got some great comments on here as well. Fantastic mentor. Dylan is a huge help and support. He's very knowledgeable and has very good recommendations for books or tutorials. He always responds immediately to questions and even willing to help out on a spontaneous emergency debugging call. Thank you, Dylan. If you're looking for a mentor who helps you grow as a developer, go with Dylan. That's a review. That is a rating and a review right there. Let me tell you. How do you study for the promotion process? Well, you find out what an organization values, and then you cater your learning towards it. So, you know, if an organization values your influence on other teams, you figure out how to influence other teams. As your organization values, you create writing the best code, you find out ways to write better code and be able to document that process. So, really depends on how your org handles that. What's the prerequisites for mentorship? So when you apply, you'll answer some questions, and you're just not automatically accepted. I have turned down people who have applied because I didn't think I was the right mentor, or I'll ask follow-up questions. So you'll apply, put your information in. You'll answer some questions as to what it is you're looking to get out of mentoring. And you may even set up some questions to ask me to answer back when I decline, accept, or follow up with more questions. So I think the real thing for this question is knowing what you want to get out of mentoring. If you show up, because my job is to provide direction and to help remove obstacles so that when you put in a month of effort, your month of effort is different than our month of effort. And so when you're putting a month of effort in on your own, you get a month of return. When you put a month of effort with someone who's done something before and is creating the roadmap, the guide, telling you the pitfalls to avoid, and you're putting the energy behind it, it's like you're getting a 3-month return. But you have to know what it is that you want to do. Like, why are you? Is your goal to be, hey, I want to go from aspiring engineer to junior engineer? Okay, great, let's do that. Is your goal to create a learning plan? Great, let's do that and then move on. One thing that I've done with some of my mentees is after we accomplish their milestones, and every single mentee I've had, within 2 months, we've accomplished what they want to do. Hey, I want to go from my unpaid internship to a paid internship. Hey, I want to go from a boot camp grad to a junior dev. Hey, I want to go from a junior dev to a senior dev. Hey, I want to go from a shitty paid dev to a much better paid dev. These are all things that, in 8 weeks' time, we've made drastic changes, and I've accomplished that. And one thing I do now is I say, okay, what's next, baby? Like, we're doing good. Like, we're making good stuff. How do we keep the momentum going? What is it that you want to do next, right? Think about what's next in your career journey, in your life, in your software development, life cycle. But you have to know what that initial one is. And sometimes that's what the first meeting is about, to get there. Because you have a general idea. But anyhow, long-winded answer to a very simple question. Yeah, when my dad was down here, he was trying to get me to explain in detail what it is I do for a living. Like, he's like, I get, like, you build software, but what does that mean? And so I opened up my VS Code editor. I showed him some personal projects, tried to explain like model view control. Like I went way too deep, and I went way too, none of it made sense. Do automation test engineers make near the same as regular software developer? I don't know. You'd have to look it up. What sort of work does my dad do? My dad's semi-retired. Right now, he does. He helps run a like high-end vacation rentals. My stepmom, which is kind of her business, but he used to write television scripts for a living. So that was his go-to. So, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of cool. I remember as a kid going to the set sometimes and like eating all the food. They always had a ton of food. Did my dad ever do photography? He was into photography. He took some photos and at a bunch of concerts and actually made a book and gave it to me and all that sort of stuff, and my brother for that matter. He never did it professionally though, not that I'm aware of, anyhow. Any well-known shows? Probably the most well-known show would be CSI Miami. We worked on that for a season or two, and then Saving Grace would be another one. Any Day Now would be another one. Toontown Kids. I don't know if that's well known, but when I was a kid, the cool thing was he worked for Disney, and they did like this live action / animated series called Toontown Kids, and it was super dope as a kid. Um, yeah, man. I've heard never accept a counteroffer. Something about employee / employer relationship already being damaged when when they know you interviewed elsewhere. Is that true? That's the general consensus. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you have to look at it. I think it's that's good general advice. Um, I've accepted a counteroffer, but I regretted it. So oh yeah, my stepmom. I forgot she was a producer of this. So this video I'm sharing is like the closing credits, and you'll notice who the director is of it. So I am still remote. Yes. Yeah, man. It's God, this is a long time ago, man. I feel old thinking about that. What's going on, Sean Vertical Smith? Do I have any other engineer friends in Seattle? Honestly, I've really connected very well with a lot of my colleagues at Amazon. I could see myself hanging out with them quite frequently. So, um, I do know a couple people in Seattle, but they're not engineers. That's just because originally being in California, certain people go to Austin, certain amount of people go to Portland, amount of people go to Seattle. So I do know people there. Nemanja, not confident applying for jobs. Apply for jobs, see what happens, man. The worst thing happening is you'll be exactly where you were right now, or you'll learn what it is that people value, and continue to grow from the interview process. You would think this dog is just like doing physical labor all day. The way she's just knocked out over there. You want to make friends who work outside of tech? I honestly, at this point, I think any friends I'm going to be making outside of tech will just be like my significant other's friends. I know she's not. Like if I say her name right now, she'll come right up. Boise, baby girl, you doing okay? You good girl? Oh, you are tired, huh? What's the matter? What's the matter, baby girl? Oh, who's a good girl? Oh, yeah, rough life. This isn't a dog bed, by the way. Front-end dev should be able to work with Git, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and a framework. Go from there. Google Web Accessibility Chrome extensions, and you'll come across quite a few that will actually run checks on each page. Sean makes a perfect point, right? Top 5 cereals: Corn Pops, Cocoa Puffs, Lucky Charms, the Cheerios Honey, or Cheerios Triple Berry. How does your mentorship differ from other ones out there? The other ones out there seem to give fairly generic advice. Well, part of the reason I meet with you weekly, which is kind of a lot by most people's standards on the platform. So, like, if you go and look at other people who are in similar work at FANG companies, they might meet with you once a month or twice a month. I meet with you weekly because the weekly check-ins are super crucial. It keeps you on task, keeps you on point. I don't want you to waste 2 weeks. I want you to waste a week, but we're going to check in and keep you on point. I also am assigning tasks, giving recommendations. I always will have an action item for you at the end of the call, and making sure that you're succeeding and we're on task. Besides giving the free courses and the weekly update emails with resources so that you always have something new, that's really where I think I excel. So I can tell you with my work-life balance, I have an excellent work-life balance. So I think it depends on what team you're on and what organization, but I can tell you that when someone did mention, hey, other people are working more, they immediately looked into it. and wanted to make sure that we're all taking our time off, we're all recovering. Like, do I look tired? Like, I was up late last night with my girlfriend just because she got off work late. But like, do I look like I'm burnt out? Do I sound like I'm burnt out? Do I look unhappy? Do I look like, am I miserable? Have I been here telling you how miserable I am? No, right? Like, life is good, man. So what would you say is dying in the front end universe? Ah, jQuery, hopefully. But Brian, also one of the things that where I differ is a lot of people have similar backgrounds to me. They're self-taught and they want to go and work at a FANG company. They want to go and do that. And it's not hypothetical, right? It's a real world scenario of like, okay, well, yeah, I don't have a degree. I didn't even go to a boot camp. So how can we get there? All right, well, let me tell you how I did it. Let's do it. And this is how you're going to succeed. And this is avoid. Part of the reason I think you get fairly generic advice is most of the people you're going to be dealing with are going to take a more traditional path. No, she's not lazy. I told you we were up late last night. And so because of that, she was up late last night because I don't go to bed until I go to bed. So she's tired because she's just a baby. Um, um, yeah, man. So, but I can tell you, I think I have a very good work-life balance. And we're a very productive team, and I don't think we're suffering for that or anything like that. So, but I also think I've put some checks and balances in my life because I've had mental health issues, and I still have mental health issues, and these are things that I've been working on overcoming. So, what hobbies are you maintaining after work? Investing and girlfriend. Not that my girlfriend's a hobby, but like the question really is, what do I do with my free time? I play a little bit of video games, not too much. But really I've been spending time with my girl, and I've been working a little on side projects, and then um, doing all that jazz. So yeah, sure, Brian. Definitely check it out, man. What is the meaning of life? I do have an answer for this. It is for you to find your own meaning. Girlfriends are a second job, yeah. Between doing stuff with them, going to dinners, making yourself presentable for family events. If you're serious, right? So like I'm serious with my girlfriend. Like, she plays her cards up. I might wife her up. You never know, all right? And if I'm so lucky, um, she might husband me up. But part of that, if you're serious, you gotta play the part. You gotta be the good boyfriend and all that sort of stuff. Show up to family events, and you don't have to, but I've dated girls in the past with family have hated me, and I'm not trying to have that relationship. That's draining, not what I want. So I'm trying to go the extra little mile. So do I need to learn data structure and algorithms for front end? No, but it'll help during the interview process. Husband him up doesn't have quite. Yeah. Well, it's not always looked at from a male perspective as being a good thing. So You know, it's more like lock this down. Yeah. Ugh. The real mind trick is just making them propose to you. So that's it. They're like, I'm the prize, baby. Where's my ring? Good luck with that. Uh, yeah, man. Listen, if a girl's proposing to you, you know you waited too long. Would there be a problem being a mentee that is in the Pacific Standard Time? No. I have morning times and I have evening times. I have some of my mentees are already in PST, some are in EST, and some are in whatever Europe's time zones are. So, um, yeah. Hi, Dylan. They say audit. Who's they? Who's they? All right, Mr. Brown. This is just some nonsense that floats out there about the sky is falling. They. Who says they? Uh, so when you look at a pic of a website, you can immediately build it exactly the same. I mean, immediately. What's immediately? But yes, if there is a web application, I can build it to be the same. Yes. I couldn't give you any remote only websites. In the past, I've pretty much only have used LinkedIn to find work. So, what is for lunch? I don't know yet, man. I got a couple things in the fridge. Have I been to Europe? Very briefly for about 4 days. I went to Brussels or Belgium. Maybe pasta. I might have some pasta. We'll see. I got stuff in the freezer I need to eat. Try to eat, leave the dry foods alone, eat the stuff in the fridge type of scenario. All right, guys, we've been going about an hour. It's about time for me to wrap up and actually make some lunch and get a few things done around the house. Hope you found this helpful. As always, check out my courses. There are links in the description below. Some of the books I recommended are down there as well. And if you're interested in any of the mentoring, check the pinned link or check the description. Definitely something I'm continuing to grow and really have been enjoying. I hope you all have a great weekend. And for those of you who are fathers, happy Father's Day. I believe that's tomorrow. I still need to get something from my dad, but we'll figure all that out. So, with that being said, guys, catch you next time.